Shalom. All praise going on to Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim Kakadash. Double honor to teachers, sellers, and apostles of Great Millstone. Likewise, brothers putting out this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and to you, brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. And I'd like to say Shabbat Shalom to all of you out there, you brothers and sisters. Okay, as you know, we in these evil times. Okay, and this devil, Esau, the so-called white man, he's losing patience with us and the world in general, because he knows he has but a short time. But this lesson is going to go into, before the implementation of the RFID microchip, which we, affectionately call the mark of the beast, okay, which is found in the book of Revelation 13. Okay, and before they implement this, of course, they have to put the infrastructure in place. The infrastructure is already in place, Jakes. Okay, it's already in place. Let's go to the book of Psalm 64 and 6, and I'm going to show you a couple clips of what's taking place in a lot of these cities and towns, here in Great Babylon, America, concerning these data centers that's being constructed. And you're also going to see a map of these data centers here in Great Babylon, America, and also across this earth. And, if that doesn't convince you that these devils have bad intention, we don't know what else is going to. This is Psalm 64 and 6, and it reads, "They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep." Okay, iniquities, wickedness. Okay, so Esau, in his jealousy of the children of Israel, the so-called blacks and the Americans and Latinos, who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, who have the blessing, he himself is looking to, build himself, an everlasting kingdom, to appoint himself as ruler of the universe, or power over everybody, to be God over everybody. And one way they're doing that is through their technology that they have. We saw a sign with Trump, a golden statue of Trump holding the Bitcoin, facing the White House or the Capitol Hill. And, which is symbolizing, what their wicked intentions are, is to do away with this monetary system and bring on that digital system, and eventually, through scaring people and forcing people to change, okay, their ways or their thoughts or against the powers to be, they're going to implement the RFID microchip, or the mark of the beast. Okay, so I'm going to play this short clip before we continue on, and I show you those the map of those global data centers, and then also here in Great Babylon, America. And this is concerning, okay, this town voting for this data center. Take a look at this.
Tense moments at the Doña Ana County Commissioners meeting today as a vote on Project Jupiter, a multi-billion-dollar proposal for 4 data centers and a microgrid in Santa Teresa, spiraled into shouting and walkouts. Diana Castillo has been at the meeting all day long. It's been going on since 9 o'clock this morning. She joins us live now with what is happening. Hi, Diana.
Hi, Estella. Well, that meeting just wrapped, and after hours of public comment, just before all of the commissioners could vote, the meeting turned tense fast. Now, with people yelling at commissioners, some being escorted out by security, others walking out voluntarily. Now, today, commissioners were expected to decide whether to move forward with the first step for Project Jupiter, a plan pitched as the largest private investment in county history. Now, the project would bring 4 data centers and a microgrid to Santa Teresa, massive facilities that store, manage, and process digital information, including data that powers artificial intelligence. Now, the price tag is up to $165 billion in industrial revenue bonds and incentives. Supporters say it could mean thousands of construction jobs and more than 700 permanent positions. But opponents argue that the center would demand too much water in an area that already faces shortages. Now, only 5 commissioners, 4 voting the project for voting for the project and 1 against were able to cast their votes before tensions in the crowd boiled over, forcing security to intervene. Now, some officials stressed during the meeting that even if approved, this would not be the final approval. There are still multiple steps before any construction could begin. Now, there is still, again, only 4 out of 1 voted for the project. Now, we'll hear from those people who say that they are against the project. We'll hear from them coming up at 6. Estela?
Okay, Diana, thank you for the latest on this.
And as you can see, people who are not for it because they're looking at the implications, okay, which are, in their eyes, they see as negative of building these data centers. Of course, they talk about, the usual things that's going to snare people when you think about these data centers going to be, the jobs that it's going to create. Well, okay, if they're getting rid of the real high-tech people, which are these Asians and these, Indians, and overcharging these companies $100,000 just to bring them over here, then who's actually going to be running these data centers? It's going to be AI. So it's not going to create jobs. American people don't have the skill set necessary, okay, to maintain these data centers. It's all going to be done through AI. Let's go into the book of Revelation 3 and 10. And this is why the Mashiach, okay, knowing that this is going to happen, because this is the judgment of the Lord Yahweh Shai, the Most High, that He's going to bring on this earth, okay, made it very clear to this elect that He's going to protect, okay, us hopefully elect during the time of this implementation. He says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is coming from the Most High, Yahweh Shai Himself. Okay, so leading up to that, of course, you're going to have a lot of distress, people marching, people going up against the government, distress of nations, perplexity of people, people going to be fighting each other, mass starvation, disease, and just a collapse of society, okay, and war, okay. So, according to Revelation 13, talk about the fact that there's going to be, an implementation of the microchip, okay, what they call the mark of the beast, okay, in which nobody will be able to buy or sell unless they have that mark. Now, before you can bring that to fruition, okay, you have to have an infrastructure set up. And we've been talking about it. You had the apostles, they've been talking about it for decades. And, you have current brothers right now who are bringing this out that are speaking about it. And you have these other platforms, that, these people who are making videos, they're talking about it. So this is a data center map, okay, of all the data centers that's currently in operation here in Great Babylon, America. And as you can see here, they're in pretty much every state. And the numbers represent the amount of data centers that are in those states. And you can see here on the right, California, 319, Virginia, 638, which Virginia is fairly close to Washington, D.C. Okay, so they're building more of these. And as you saw in that earlier clip, in reference to what's taking place with a lot of these cities and these towns, some are for it, some are against, these data centers being built, because these data centers are going to cause a lot of disruption. They require a lot of water to cool down these supercomputers, and also to the electricity that's going to be pulling. They'll try to say, okay, it's going to bring jobs and all the other different things like that. But when we look at this, we can see, okay, that this is going to be not used for the good of humanity. In fact, let's take a look at how this looks globally. Okay, So you can take a look and see globally how this actually looks. Take a look at it. This is a global map of it. And you can see it's already in place. I mean, every kind of country you can think about. I actually zoomed in to the Caribbean, and you can see here Puerto Rico. Okay, this is the U.S. Virgin Island. They have data centers there. Okay, you have Jamaica, the Bahamas have multiple, which is shocking. Okay, but you can see this is a global thing. This is already in place. So when we talk about the mark of the beast being implemented, where they're going to be, be able to monitor everybody across this earth, you can see, look at this, look at Europe. Okay, look at Japan, look at China. Okay, even in Africa, South America, Australia, New Zealand, you take a look at it. This is the global view. This is current, and they're actually building more. Look at it. Okay, so this is for real. Okay, these are super centers. Data, why do they need these? They need these because these are driven by these quantum computers, these supercomputers. You have, what's his name from Tesla? He put out that Starlink out there. So they're getting ready, and this is where we're at right now. So I'm going to put the link in so that you can go and look at this yourself, or you can see where there's a data center there, in a town near you. This is the real deal, Jake. The real deal. Okay. And this is going to be that solution that they're going to bring to have this so-called global agreement. There's going to be a global agreement with these nations that this is going to be the way to maintain or sustain the society that's left. Okay, when we go into Revelation 13 and starting with verse 16, you can see how this is going to play out. It says, "And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding come the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. We seen with the CERN logo is 666. Google puts it up all the time, 666. So does Apple. Boeing. All of these super corporations. While they trade publicly to the masses, okay, and they give out the reports and all that stuff, they have dark money. Okay, that's really sustaining them. So these companies will not fail. These companies are not going to go bankrupt. These type of companies are the companies that are building the infrastructure. They're the ones that are the forerunners of all of this. Okay, and you can see. So it's not talking about some individual. Christianity will teach you that, or some man is going to just tell the whole world, you got to take this mark in the sand. What cracker or nigger or spick or doggone jungle monkey from Africa, man, name any man on this earth that can just stand up and do that. No, it's a conglomerate. Okay, a conglomerate of these extremely wealthy people that the world don't see, that are funding all of this. And this is also a judgment that's coming from the Lord Yahweh Shai himself. But the one thing that we can keep in mind, and this is always comforting to us, when you go into Job 5:12, it reads, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. They're going to get it off the ground. There's a lot of people going to die who are going to refuse to take the mark. A lot of people are going to be ostracized of society. They're going to have to go in the wilderness, and eventually, as they get enough people to accept it, they're going to eliminate all the resistance. They're going to send drones out there to go kill people. Okay, they're not going to just let you well, I'm not going to take it. You're not going to have the option like the C-19 where you don't take it and you can lose your job and move on, and maybe you might get another one. No, it's not going to be that kind of option. Basically, when you don't accept it, they're going to put you to death. They're going to round you up. They're going to find you out there in the desert. They're going to find you in a cave hole hiding, whatever the case is like that, and put you to death. Unless the Lord Yahweh Shai is protecting you, as Yahweh Shai Mashiach said that he's going to protect us, pursuant to Revelation 3:10. You are on your own. And if you're in Great Babylon, America, at the conclusion of it, you're still going to die, okay, in that nuclear fire. All right. So I just wanted to bring this out here. So, there's any doubt in these Jake's mind that this exists. Well, here it is. It is proof. Okay. The infrastructure, it's already here. It's already been created. Okay. Take a look at it. Well, like was edified, that close up by giving all credit on it too. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakdash. Shalom.